Styner, Doctor of Medicine. Tonight's story has the title, The Laughter and the Weeping.
Guardian of birth, healer of the sick, comforter of the aged. And the qualities of the worthy physician are three: the eye of an eagle, the heart of a lion, the hand of a woman.
Our actual case history tonight concerns the field of plastic surgery. The object in point, a surgical knife. The case in point, Harold John Sutherland. Professionally, he's known as Lord Harold Percival Sutherland. He's 34 years old, unmarried. Thus far, his life has not been without tragedy. At the age of 12, his twin brother was struck down and killed by a hit-and-run driver. The disaster carved a lasting impression on the mind of an already sensitive boy. Graduated from high school at the age of 17, Harold entered college with one goal in view: to earn his master's degree in English literature, and ultimately a certificate as a qualified teacher in the same field of learning. But toward the end of his second year in college, his father sustained critical injuries in an auto accident and became permanently bedridden. So at the age of 19, Harold quit his studies in order to support his mother and his invalid father, and he sought quick, profitable employment. Because of his unusual physical development and his athletic ability, he gained a foothold in professional wrestling almost immediately. From the very beginning, he hated it. But it meant quick money, and that's what he needed for the support of his parents. In a few months, he'd be free to get a better job, a chance to continue his education. But it didn't happen. A few months lengthened into a year, and 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. A chance to return to his studies. Somehow he managed to keep that hope alive. But another few years and his last hope died. There was no chance. To Harold Sutherland, there was nothing else left. It had to be wrestling. For him, there was no other job. Any bitterness he felt was tempered with the knowledge that he had devoted 15 years of his life to two people he loved most. One of them, his mother, died a year ago. Now death threatens his aging father, still an invalid. 12 hours ago, he suffered a brain hemorrhage, a stroke. The outcome is still in doubt.
Still the same? Hasn't there been any change at all?
I called Dr. Getz, the neurologist, in consultation. He agrees with the diagnosis. Cerebral hemorrhage, same area of the brain as last time. This time it's more serious.
Is he gonna die?
It's not very encouraging, Hal. His chances aren't very good.
It's getting late.
I know it's hard to accept. It's always hard.
I should have been expecting it, I guess, after the last time.
Hal, your father's a remarkable man, but he is getting on. And he hasn't had an easy time of it. An invalid the last 15 years.
Long time. God knows he's had enough pain. Maybe it's better this way, I don't know.
Hal, it's something we all have to go through sooner or later. Even before his accident, your dad always figured he'd had a pretty good life. That's more than you can say for yourself so far. I think you know what I mean.
Well, you know what the situation is, Doctor. We've talked about it before.
That's all we've done is talk. Hal, you're 34 years old. You've spent a lot of years doing things for other people. Isn't it about time you tried to do something for yourself for a change?
I'm sorry, Doctor. It's getting late. I've got to get going.
You planning to go back to school? Get that teacher's certificate?
I don't know. Maybe if I get a chance. You'll do what you can, won't you? I'll be back as soon as I can, maybe around midnight.
We'll do everything possible. If there's any change in his condition, we'll let you know right away.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hal, think about what I said about the future. About trying to do something for yourself for a change. Seriously.
All right, Doctor. I don't know how it can change anything, but I'll think about it.
So once again, Harold Sutherland returns reluctantly to the source of his livelihood, the wrestling arena, to reenact a role he's long since wearied of. Waiting his arrival is an integral part of the act. Luther Jackson, a garage mechanic during the day, he's a close friend. But in the purple prose of the publicity handouts, he's billed as longtime family retainer and personal bodyguard to His Grace Lord Harold Percival Sutherland. despite the fact that professional wrestling is a most curious mixture of entertainment and sport, and the audience is quick to accept new favorites and quick to discard them. After almost 2 decades, Lord Harold Percival Sutherland can still command steady employment. Quite naturally, the staging and the costuming and the slapstick comedy elements have played no small part in the success of the act. But where others see him as a comic and successful clown, Harold Sutherland regards himself as a failure, an utter, misbegotten failure.
Now, that act of yours with Sutherland, well, it needs more jazz or we're going to lose the crowd.
Well, I don't know, Stan. What do you want me to do?
Just what I told you, stupid. Now, move in on him tonight. He won't be looking for it, and you can rough him up just as much as you want to. Lay right into him.
Yeah, but suppose he won't stand for it. He's still no pushover, you know?
Well, you do like I said and don't worry. He won't even know what's happening. Now, get in there and give him the business. Pound him around, and the crowd will love it. Really pound him around good.
Make way! Which way? Defer, if you please. Defer to his lordship. Make way for his grace. Make way for Lord Harold Percival Sutherland, champion of His Britannic Majesty's Empire. Make way. Make way for Lord Sutherland.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight by popular demand, promoter Stanley Gentleman Thompson presents 2 of the outstanding contenders for the World Wrestling Crown in what we call an unprecedented grudge match. In the white corner, our own regional heavyweight champion, All-American handsome Chuck Strong. He will put his crown on the line tonight against that very colorful invader from overseas, champion of the Empire, Lord Harold Percival Sutherland. Ladies and gentlemen, by popular request, Lord Percival's recitation tonight, a speech from William Shakespeare's play, King Henry VI. Lord Percival, if you please.
Kingdom then for Richard. What other pleasure can the world afford? I'll make my heaven in a lady's lap, and deck my body with gay ornaments, and wit sweet ladies with my words and looks. Oh, miserable thought! And more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns. Why, love forswore me in my mother's womb, and for I should not deal in her soft laws, she did corrupt frail nature with some bribe, to shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to put an envious mountain on my back, where sits deformity to mock my body, to shape my legs of an unequal size, then to disproportion me in every part, like to a chaos, or an unlicked beowulf that carries no impression like the dam.
And am I then a man to be beloved? Oh, monstrous fault, to harbor such a thought.
Are you sick of your... All right, then, let's go.
All right, men, we all know the rules here, and I'm going to enforce them. Any questions, I'll take them now. Let's go.
It's okay, Lord Harold.
I'm going back to England.
Sorry? You're sorry? A lot of good that's gonna do. Well, of all the lousy tricks. Chuck's the headliner, not you. He's supposed to look good. He was only doing his job.
Come off it, Stan. You pulled a double switch and you know it.
What? What are you talking about?
Chuck played it rough because you told him to. You wanted blood, you wanted a circus. I've been around a long time, remember?
Yeah. Maybe you've been around too long. Look, I'm running this outfit, and I'm not carrying anybody who can't take orders. Now, you'll do as you're told or you're through. Remember, pal, you can be replaced just like that.
All right, Stan. If that's the way you feel about it, maybe you better replace me.
All right. That's the way you feel about it? There's your cut for tonight, and we're quits.
Lord Harold! Lord Harold! The hospital just phoned you. They said it's important. They said you'd better come right away.
Meanwhile, you have to go on living. How about yourself? Got any plans?
No, I guess not. I don't know. Everything seems kind of empty. Nothing to work for anymore.
Yeah, you said you quit your wrestling job tonight. How about going back to school and getting that teacher's credential? That's what you always wanted, isn't it?
I haven't thought about it much lately. It's been too long. It wouldn't work.
Oh, why not?
Money, for one thing. There's been a lot of expenses. Haven't been able to save much, not enough to drop everything and go back to school.
That's not a very good excuse, is it? Ever since I've known you, you've been a pretty resourceful fellow. I think you could work it out to go back to school and get that teacher's credential if you really want it. It is, isn't it?
All right, it is. But take a look at this again. How about it? Can't you just picture me in a class with a bunch of 20-year-olds? Lord Sutherland goes to college. Be a great picture, wouldn't it?
Hal, age is no argument. There are plenty of people older than you in college right now.
With a face like this?
I've told you about that a half a dozen times. In my opinion, plastic surgery would make all the difference in the world.
Look, Doctor, I know what you're trying to do, and I appreciate it. But let's face it, I'm in no position to go to a plastic surgeon. And if I could, how much good would it do me?
Well, you've never been examined by a plastic surgeon. How would you know?
I've heard of some cases. Plastic surgeons aren't miracle men. Besides, they wouldn't be interested in a case like mine. I'm no rich old lady who wants to have her face lifted, or a movie star who has to look good.
You've got a pretty strange impression of plastic surgeons. Sure, there's some doctors who confine their practice to cases like that, and in their own way, they're important. But plastic surgery goes far beyond that. They're curing everything from leg ulcers by a skin graft to repairing major features that have been destroyed by accident or disease.
That's fine, Doctor. Maybe it could help a little. But who cares? I'm a wrestler. It doesn't make any difference.
It makes all the difference in the world, and you know it. It could change your whole life for the better.
It's no use, Doctor. It's a waste of time. Thanks, anyway.
Hal, your mother and father were never very happy because you couldn't finish your education. All right? They knew you weren't happy. They knew you wanted to be a teacher more than anything else in the world.
I suppose so.
Well, if you won't do it for yourself, how about doing it for them? What do you say?
You win, Doctor. Name the time and place, and I'll be there.
So at last, Harold Sutherland brings his problem to the attention of a qualified plastic surgeon. After a complete history of the patient's general health is taken, there follows a more thorough examination of the areas involved, the ears and the nose. The chances for improvement and the degrees of improvement are carefully evaluated.
What's your opinion, Doctor? Is there anything you can do?
Yes, I believe there is. Essentially, we have three problems here: protruding ears, the cauliflower condition of the ears, and a deformed nose.
I see.
Now, let's take the most difficult one first, the cauliflower ears. We try to improve this condition, or correct it as much as possible, by thinning and smoothing out the lumps of scar tissue which have developed. Now, I can't promise that we'll be able to thin out and smooth out all the lumps completely, but we certainly can improve them. In any event, they'll be much less noticeable when the ears are laid back close to the head.
Well, how would you go about it, Doctor? I mean, pinning the ears back.
It's a fairly simple procedure. An incision is made in back of the ear, directly in line with where the normal fold would be. With you, the fold didn't develop naturally, so we'd make one for you. Do what nature failed to do. It's a rather common operation nowadays. It's usually taken care of in childhood, but it can be done at any time.
Well, that sounds pretty good. What about this?
I think we can take care of that all right, but I would like to know what you have in mind, what you expect.
Well, something like it used to be, I guess. Doesn't have to be perfect, just so it isn't something you stop and stare at.
We can certainly do that much all right.
Well, how would you go about that? Would you have to graft bone, things like that?
No, in your case, nothing is missing. The bone and tissue is merely mashed down. You can regard it very much on the principle of a triangle. The apex is flattened and the base spreads like this. Now, by bringing the base together, the apex or ridge of the nose is restored to its normal position.
I see. By the way, Doctor, there is something else. I guess I should have mentioned it before. What I mean is, well, how much will it cost?
Very simply put, Mr. Sutherland, fees for operations of this type are generally in line with other surgical procedures which require similar operating time. I mean, appendectomies or gallbladder operations, for example. That includes...
I think I know what you're talking about now, Doctor. It's a lot different from what I thought. I always heard plastic surgery was so expensive, usually runs into $1,000 or more.
A lot of people have that impression, unfortunately. It's certainly far from the truth. Now, of course, Mr. Sutherland, surgery is out of the question for you until your ears have healed completely, until there's no danger of infection.
I understand.
After that, if and when you decide on surgery, why don't you call me right here at the office?
Thank you, Doctor. I'll call you.
So you want to come back to work for me, huh? All right, you can come back.
Thanks a lot, Stan. It's nice of you.
Under one condition. Did you sign a firm 18-month contract with me? And that means for the next 18 months you're in the ring, you'll do exactly what I say. If I say stand on your head, you stand on your head. If I say fall down, you fall down, understand? You'll get the same money, same billing, and no complaints.
All right, Stan. No complaints.
Okay, it's a deal. Say, glad to see you getting some sense, Percy. What happened? How come you came back?
Because I'm leaving you, Stan. 18 months and I'm leaving you once and for all.
So after the long years of trial, the long years of waiting, Lord Harold Percival Sutherland delivers himself back to a livelihood which he hates, but at the same time represents a means to an end. The trial is long, 18 months. They pass slowly. And the injuries are not confined to the body alone. The spirit also suffers, a sensitive spirit, one exposed to constant derision, gross comedy, scorn, ridicule. At the same time, the physical injury cannot be minimized. It is only conjecture, but it might be significant that the lives of many of the world's most famous clowns and comedians have been painted with tragedy and great sorrow. And the weeks pass slowly, and slowly the months. Scars healed or reopened, then heal again. The crowds are pleased, the promoters are happy.
Hello, this is Harold Sutherland speaking. I'd like to make an appointment with Dr. Chalmers, please.
This week?
Yes, as soon as possible.
Friday at 10, Mr. Sutherland.
Because of the lapse of time since his initial visit, the patient is re-examined thoroughly. Additional damage is noted, but nothing critical enough to advise against surgery. A date is set for the operation 2 weeks hence, and the doctor's office staff completes hospital arrangements. Photographs are then taken to provide accurate records of the patient's preoperative condition. The patient, Harold Sutherland, is admitted to the hospital during the afternoon the day before surgery. Early the following morning, the patient is given preoperative sedatives. The patient is removed from his room and taken to surgery. The surgery is accomplished under local anesthetic. The patient experiences a feeling of drowsiness, well-being. The initial procedure is to correct the protruding condition of the ears. To correct the cauliflower condition, skin flaps are dissected away from the deeper masses of scar tissue, and this material is then paired to the normal shape and thickness of the original ear cartilage. Next, the rhinoplasty, the surgical procedure on the nose. The nasal bones are cut through with a fine chisel-like instrument, an osteotome, in approximately the same area where the original fractures occurred. This allows the surgeon to relocate the bony structure to its original position and to remove any excess bone. He also frees the cartilage, which provides the shape and support to the tip of the nose from the scar tissue, which has been holding it in a distorted position. The natural resilience of the cartilage returns the nose more or less to a normal shape. Finer molding and anchorage of this cartilage is accomplished with the use of sutures. The day after surgery, the patient returns home. After 3 days, at the physician's office, the gauze packings are removed from the nostrils, the metal nose splint is taken off, and adhesive tape strapping is changed. This same tape strapping will remain on a full week after the first change of dressing. The ear bandages are changed at 3-day intervals. Then after 10 days, all bandages are removed. In 2 weeks, some amount of discoloration and swelling can be detected by doctor and patient, but not by the casual observer. After 2 months, almost all of the swelling is gone, and post-operative pictures are taken.
Why, yes, send him in. Friend of yours.
Howard?
Konrad?
Brought the journal back. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure. I think you know the patient, don't you, Doctor?
Well, Harold Sutherland. How about this? You finally got it done.
That's right.
Well, congratulations. You really did get yourself fixed up.
He did fine, didn't he? It should look even better when the swelling's gone.
It looks great right now. What have you been doing with yourself lately?
Oh, I've been working in the garage at night, brushing up on my books some during the day.
You're going to finish up? You're going back to state teachers?
Solid 2 years. Fall semester opens a week from tomorrow.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's just wonderful. Decide what you're going to major in.
You know as well as I do.
Corrupt frail nature with some bribe. To shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to make an envious mountain on my back. Where sits deformity where sits deformity? Sorry, Mr. Sutherland, I forget.
All right, Donald, that was a fair try. But I think you were too busy memorizing to grasp the real meaning of the words. Now, I'm no expert, but I have read in public before. Maybe this might give you a better idea of what Shakespeare was trying to say in this speech. Oh, miserable thought. And more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns. My love forswore me in my mother's womb, and for I should not deal in her soft laws, she did corrupt frail nature with some bribe, to shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to put an envious mountain on my back, where sits deformity to mock my body, and to shape my legs of an unequal size, and to disproportion me in every part, like to a chaos, or an unlicked bare whelp that carries no impression like the dam. And am I then a man to be beloved?